Okay, everybody good?
Well, thank you, everybody, and let me thank Gary and the DSCC for hosting us. I'll have a little more to say about that later. But first, I want us to say that this election is a vindication for Democrats and our agenda, but far more importantly, it's a victory for the American people. Last week, Americans turned out to support the progress they've seen from Democrats over the last 2 years and to vote against the Republican MAGA agenda against autocracy. We had amazing candidates. Our incumbents here put in the work. They were just amazing in terms of focus, in terms of not being thrown off course, not letting the relentless attacks on them get to them in any way. But most importantly, the people with me here are just talented public servants who over the last 6 years have done so much and will get even more done in the next 6 years as senators. And we have 2 new senators coming for help. I met early this morning with Peter Welch and John Fetterman, who both ran first-rate campaigns as well. And since I've been majority leader, every incumbent has won their race, and we're going to keep that record going with Raphael Warnock in Georgia. We're going to keep that streak alive. As I've said many times, Raphael Warnock can help Georgia much better than anybody, and I'm confident he can prevail in December. Look at what he's done. He's been a leader in capping insulin at $35 a month for elderly people on Medicare. He's been a leader on voting rights, so important to the people of Georgia. He's been a leader on expanding health care with the ACA growing so that more people are covered and people pay less. So he's amazing, and he's going to win because he's much better for Georgia than his opponent, plain and simple. And in general, so 2 things happened at the same time in the last 2 years. We had an amazing record of legislative accomplishment, which everyone here partook in a very serious way. And against all the pundits, we kept the majority in the Senate. The 2 are completely related. What we got done mattered to the American people. The Republicans were busy throwing fireballs over the wall, incendiary, divisive, nasty comments. They embraced the big lie, so many of the candidates. And it seemed alluring on a day-by-day basis, and a lot of the pundits and prognosticators paid attention to that. But the people actually saw, the American people saw 2 things. They saw what we had done and were going to do. And frankly, they were worried that this new MAGA Republican Party was different than the Republican Party that they knew. And so even some Republicans and independents in all of these races said, I may be a Reagan Republican, I may be a Bush Republican, but I am not a MAGA Republican, and I can't tolerate this assault on democracy. In June, people saw that. They saw it in the Dobbs decision, and abortion was a huge issue for us. They saw it in the hearings on about January 6th, where they saw these hooligans invade the Capitol and beat police officers up. And they saw it in the extremist comments of so many Republicans, which too much of the Republican leadership never rebutted. So they began to say, this is not my Republican Party. But they said, what about the Democrats? Can they ever get anything done? And we had gotten quite a bit done before, but in June, July, and the first week in August, we passed 6 major bills, 5 of them bipartisan, on veterans, on guns, on jobs in America, on climate, on prescription drugs. And they said, wow, they're talking about things that matter to me. And so by August, I was confident, and when I said this, people poo-pooed it, that we were going to keep the Senate, and that every one of our incumbents was going to win, and we were going to pick up seats, and here we are. So this has been, and the one final thing I'd say, which I said on the floor today, I hope our Republican colleagues, the non-MAGA ones, will work with us in a bipartisan way over the next 2 years so we can get stuff done. They should realize that embracing MAGA is very bad for America, but not very good for their party either, as this election showed. So, I want to thank everyone here. but I particularly want to thank Gary Peters of the DSCC. He's done an amazing job. He has been, again, just like the people running, never blown off course, always had a plan, stuck with the plan, made sure we raised the money that we needed, and more importantly, kept helping, guiding, bolstering candidates through all the attacks in every way that he could. And the DSCC staff has been great. Christy is not here. She's the most brilliant political person I've ever met. And she's worked at the DSCC now for 6 years. More?
Yeah.
She's been amazing. And she's not here because she's busy
Working.
I also, not part of this, but the Super PAC staff led by J.P. Persh did an amazing job as well. We raised as much money as the Republicans, $3 million less, about 380 to 375, and that helped as well. And as Gary will tell you, both sides spent more money than they ever have before on ground game, which really helped us. And that was, again, the great work of the DSCC and the people who worked on the ground. The final people I think we all want to thank are the thousands and thousands and thousands of citizens who cared about making America a better place, who cared about preserving our democracy, who got out there day in and day out and worked for these folks. They are what America's all about, and together, as democracy was really being eroded, we pushed back and said, the roots of democracy are deep and are going to stay. With that, let me call on Gary.
Well, thank you, Chuck.